Were these like a series that you did, or?
So they're all sort of connected to like I guess like exams mainly. So it's like they are part of like a single series in a single body. But like I like I sometimes I'm afraid to like be like, yeah, no, this is fully part of this one thing, because they can sit by themselves, but like what I want for like my sound pieces is to like speak with the paintings that they're accompanying, because it's like the paintings are like almost a mirror that I want you to look into and like just sort of ponder while the sound is happening. So it's like, you're surrounded by this moment, essentially, like this entire experience. Like I want you to like sit there and like, stare at whatever's happening.
Nah, go ahead and play that for us, man. I.M.N.O.G podcast, back with another one. We got a brand new face on the couch, and we're about to get into what he does. We're about to get to know him, and I'm gonna let him tell us what his name is. I just met the brother. We've been talking. Marlon sent me some of his music, man. Hey, I'm not even gonna call it music. Can I call it music? I'm not gonna call it music.
Call it an experience.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Yeah, but we're gonna get into that, man. I think it's special, and I actually cannot wait for you to explain what is behind that and the inspiration. It's abstract as hell, and I love abstract, man. So yeah, let's get into it. So for starters, just tell us your name. You can get into where you're from if you're comfortable with that. And just where you're at now and what you do, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess first and foremost, my name is Lolo Lonzoa. I go by Lolo on most things, and I guess I'm from Limpopo originally, but I'm basically raised in Joburg, and I'm centered in Joburg. Like this is home, basically. I guess like I'm an artist, I guess. Like I do a lot of things, but at the moment it's like sound and then painting, and then a bit of performance when I feel up to it.
Yeah. No, nice to have you on the show, bro. Nice to have you on the show. Look, man, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you became interested in fine arts?
Yeah, no, that's no problem. So I guess the first time I was like, yeah, no, I actually want to be an artist, and like this is something that I can see myself doing, was like in high school, because I was obviously like, as like the second born, like I'm watching my older sibling, and it's like, she was busy doing art and everything, and I was like, yeah, I could do this. I already enjoyed art. I already like enjoyed just creating stuff, or just like drawing in general, and I was like, okay, this is something. And yeah, from there I was just like, I can't do anything else. I couldn't see myself in an office. I couldn't see myself in like any other space except in the arts. So from there it was just like, yeah, we're going to art school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember actually like what your first drawing was, or like your earliest memory of the first drawing that you were like, wow, man, I actually did that?
The very first one where I'm like, okay, geez, was this drawing of El Tigre. It's like it's an old like cartoon on Nickelodeon, and I was like, I entered it into like a school competition, like primary school, like it was up and everything. I was like, that was the moment I was like, oh, like this is it, basically. Like this is where I want to be. Like that was the very first moment, and then from there it was just like trying to get better.
Man, so I bet you like took art as a subject in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you like Do you want to tell us like how far are you academically with art? Are you still pursuing that? Are you still on that academic journey with fine arts?
Yeah, I am. So like academically, right now I'm doing like my master's in fine art
Damn.
at Wits, and like I want to, make
Yeah.
be in the space as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that's where we are currently.
And how's that experience like so far?
The joke is at Wits, or at least like amongst some of my friends, is that like Wits gives you the edge so you can jump off of it, and it's like sometimes it's like it's hectic like that where it's just like, damn, I'm paying to be here, but it's like but it's like I enjoy it. It's like, I'm to sort of paraphrase my dad, it's like I'm making my hobby like my life, and it's like I'm happy when I'm talking about art and like when I'm in the presence of other artists. So it's like I'm okay with the fact that like the edge is nearer and nearer, but I'm like, I'm fine with it.
So like tell us like what is your style of art? How would you describe your style of art, and what is the theme maybe behind it?
I guess, ooh, to describe, like, I guess my style is surrealist. I think like it's here and there, like it's either like it's fully abstract, but I think I'm more comfortable saying that I'm like a surrealist artist. And in terms of like themes and stuff, because of like my upbringing, like I am influenced a lot by like history and religion as well. Like I'm trying to sort of subvert that a little bit and just like play around with religious and historical themes. Yeah.
I like that. And like, could you tell us about like which artists inspire you?
Yeah. I guess I guess the one artist for sure is like Dumele Feni. Like there was a point where I was just like just looking at all of his work and just like, trying to figure out like how he was doing all these things and like creating all these forms. That was he's definitely an artist that I'm like deeply I think about a lot. And who else? Like Ayanda Mabulo as well. Like I mess with his work as well. It's just like
shout out Ayanda, man, come on the show.
Yeah, like but like his work is just like, to me, is just it's got like so much character and so much just like there's just something about it like that I want to sort of find a way of meeting almost, because it's just like I just appreciate like his craftsmanship and like his technical ability.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, bro. So let's go into like, how do you balance, your artistic life with your personal life? I mean, like maybe going to school and studying arts, and does that take you away from the personal, let's say maybe like going out with friends and keeping in touch with family?
No, not necessarily. Like I think I'm still trying to figure out like the happy medium of like socializing and like just being outside and like working, but it's not too like isolating, like there's a lot of community to be found in the art space. So it's just I have my people, and like I'm okay. Like I'll go outside and I'll go to clubs and whatever. So
and how's your mental health? Because I asked that question because there is artists who are like mentally ill. They're so personally attached to their art, their craft, and they get depressed when they're not producing to the standard that they want to produce at, And like some of them give up, they think about giving up, or they take a huge break, But how are you with in terms of mental health artistically?
What?
Like, are you hard on yourself? You know, are you easy on yourself?
I think I'm hard on myself a little bit because like
Yeah.
I believe that I can, you know, like I can do this. Like I wouldn't be this far if I didn't know that I had the talent. But it's like sometimes I'm just like, do you even know how to draw? Like, do you know how to paint? Like, it's been 5 years. Like, do you know what you're doing? And it's just a matter of like, sometimes just being like, there's a plan. It's just taking time and like being like okay with what comes out. Because sometimes it's not that thing that you're working on isn't the first thing. It's just like the build up to like something better. So it's like it's being hard on myself, but like with a little bit of grace.
Man, no, that's good. That's good. And like, man, I want to get into that more, but I also want to ask you this question: like, how do you see yourself business-wise and like with your art? Are you able to like take over that business side of your art, or do you feel like you would rather just create and have someone handle the business side of it? Do you have an understanding of the business side basically of the art?
I mean, not really. Like, it's, at least to my understanding, I know some people it's easier. Like they have just like they just know what they're doing, but I'm still sort of figuring out like how to like sell the work, because I have like stuff, but it's just like I'm not sure like who do I talk to here in this space, because it's a bit of a weird situation sometimes.
Nah, that's dope, bro. You also into sound, so yeah. As like I was saying, I don't know if I could call it music, you know, but yeah, I go by trip sound, so I definitely can relate to sound when I hear it, and your stuff is different. I can't wait to hear what you got to say about it. But yeah, like I'm into that, man, and we're just gonna take a short break, and we'll be back, and we'll be listening to Lolo's music sound. You know what it is. Alright, y'all, so we're back from the break. Took a short break, smoke break, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, we got my man Lolo here. We're about to talk about his art. Some of it is sonic, some of it is visual, and we're about to talk about the sonic part of it.
These are both domestic and international law by the might be able to extend to all conduct of interrogation. How law outlined part 2 examines visual criminal law as clearly report to extend to instruction by those two examine criminal law indicate disciplinary criminal law several canons of instruction by applicability of those canons of properly authorizatory industry and regulatory combat laws and taken by means of clickability. Copyright has taken from statutes taken by means of expression to personal.
Could you tell us about this sound and what inspired this and what's going on behind that? You know.
Yeah. So with this specific one, so it's part of like a bigger series, but I guess it was sort of inspired by like because at this point like I was privately like learning about like the Iraq War and just like the shenanigans that happened during it.
Yeah.
And it's like the what I'm like because I'm using like my own voice, so I'm reading a memorandum to like some U.S. general talking about like what he can and can't do and like what he's sort of permitted, like essentially like the protections that he has, and it's like I was sort of just like it was a bit weird. Like I was just reading this, I'm like, how did you get away with this shit, dog? Like, and it didn't really make sense to me the entire time as I kept reading and like kept engaging with this, and it's like it was just a lot of like confusion realistically. Like that's kind of the theme that I'm going for within the piece. It's like I want you to be confused and I want you to like ask yourself, what exactly did I just listen to?
That's exactly what I asked myself. Yeah, and like, so whose voice is that in the piece?
So it's mine. But like I edited it. So I pitched it down and pitched it up and like sped it up as well. And then just added echo and like reverb and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's cool. And the sounds, who made the sounds? Like, did you create the sound design?
When you say sound design, like sound
like
design, you mean like just like
the pads in the background?
So the pads and like just like the other sounds that aren't my voice are found sounds. So it's like towards the end, that is the old like Soviet end like call sign essentially. So it's like at the end of like programming, they'll have this like this chime like go off just like to signal like, okay, yeah, we're done for today, tune in like in the morning at like whatever time. That was just like to sort of wrap up the piece. And then in the beginning, that's from the song by this Spanish artist, like musician rather. Can I like just find the name?
Yeah.
So it's like,
go ahead, bro.
Apache. Oh, actually, here it is. Apache Andion. So he's like a pop artist. And like I really liked the beginning of this specific song. Let's get the name. San Rafael de Guadarrama, and like I enjoyed the very beginning of it because it's like it's so cinematic almost. It sounded like it gave me like Disney vibes a little bit, and I wanted to sort of add it because it's like we're going through this story basically of like wrongdoing and torture and all this like nonsense that happened during this conflict, and like obviously still happens, just like not as like publicized as it was during like with the Abu Ghraib situation. So it's like I want to like have this mystical beginning and then get into it and like confuse everyone.
No, it is definitely confusing, bro. We're gonna go ahead and listen to another piece. I know you sent us 2 pieces. how did you actually want people to feel when you made that?
I think overwhelmed is definitely what I was going for, because like, so this one that we just listened to like is connected to this sort of bigger painting called The Goddess of Reason, and like I guess the feelings at the time when I was painting this were definitely like, and making the sound was like, you know, I am overwhelmed with this task, because I think this was like the first time I'd painted something figurative and like this large as well. So I was just like, you know, I'm sort of setting myself with this challenge, and like I don't really know how this is gonna turn out, but I'm, you know, trying. And like yeah, it was through a lot of like research and just like a bit of faith in the work, I was like, yeah,
Man, that's a powerful painting, bro. Can you explain the horns, like, on the, like?
Yeah, no, I can. So it's like, so the entire piece, I guess, is just sort of speaking about like, essentially like new religion a little bit, and like sort of the leap of faith that you have to kind of go with in religion just in general, but like just there's like a lot you're asked to essentially like give up, like you're asked to give up that control almost, and like, you know, find solace in like this body, like it's this imagined body. And like in this case I wanted to like give God a body, but I didn't want to like just paint like a man, because it's like that's done. Like I wanted to sort of go through this idea of like, what would a goddess's body look like? What would, you know, how would she be surrounded? And like I sort of came up with these like, you know, these figures that are surrounding her, you know, and like
well captured,
and like, you know, challenging her in some ways, and, you know, just following along. And like, because like the idea of like a god of reason is sort of from the French Revolution, because they were trying to like get rid of the Catholic Church at the time. So it's like, you know, I wanted to like follow that line, like how far, like what would this god look like, especially now, because it's like, you know, we're more open to like paganism and like just new spiritual form. So I just wanted to like capture that.
No, I can see that looking at it. No, I can definitely see that. And what medium did you use when you painted this?
So this is acrylic on masonite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like essentially like wood board. And it's like and I was like, it's just a lot of like wet acrylic and like working into the wood and like making sure that it pops, I guess.
No, that's dope. And what gave you the inspiration to like connect the sound to this image, or this image to the sound?
Actually, I don't fully know. I think sometimes I'm like, in my mind I'm like, you know, I make these sound pieces for these paintings because I sometimes don't feel like paintings alone can communicate what I'm trying, like the feelings that I'm trying to convey. So I'm like, you know, I need to sort of fill the room, not just with physical work, but like with the sonic, because it's like there's a lot that you can do with just like the sound of a voice, or like a collection of sounds like coming together. Like you can do more with that than just a painting alone. Yeah.
No, that's well said, bro. So look, I wanna like get into like, how do you stay, you know, motivated and, you know, like to keep creating? How do you just stay motivated and overcome negative vibe and like, you know, creative blocks? And yeah.
I mean, it's a mix of things. It's like, one, I guess, just research, because it's like, so I really enjoy history, and like sometimes you'll just see something, you're like, how did you guys get to this point where you're doing all of this, like this stuff? Like what was the inciting incident? Or like, like I'll see something and I'm like, wow, I really want to connect with that in some way. And sometimes it's sonic, sometimes it's a performance, sometimes it's a painting. So it's like, it's finding that spark outside of myself. But it's also like, I guess, just trusting and like keeping the process going. Even if I'm not making like huge works, I'm just like, doing like little stem works and just like little things to keep my mind occupied. And there's also just talking to people, because like if you open yourself up to like communication, you can find like a lot of really good ideas, and like from there you can like expand and like turn that small little like moment in passing into like a entire body of work.
That's true. You said something about performance. Do you perform?
Yeah, so it's like
what type of performance do you do?
It's really hard to like explain. It's
give it a
like,
try,
yeah,
bro.
it's like, it's like avant-garde kind of like body performances, I guess. It's just sort of setting up a stage, and like through like the research and the work and everything, like putting all that together and like finding some way of making it all make sense. Like I never really know how to explain like art performance.
Is it like body movements type of thing?
Yeah, it's like body movements and like sort of...
Is there a name for it? What is it called?
I don't know if I feel like it's just performance art. I don't know if there's really like a proper name. If there is, I haven't really heard it.
There's something I know where I have a friend that told me about this. Yeah, it's body performance. It's called something, man. If I could just remember the name. But yeah, I thought maybe that was what you were doing. But I still want to know the performance side. Like, do you use music and?
Yeah. So like, music. I use the sound pieces mainly, and like but I'll I guess in the last performance I did incorporate like this very specific song, American Ghost Dance by Red Hot Chili Peppers, because it's like it is historically significant, like the moment that they're sort of speaking to, but it's also like I guess one of my lecturers really got me into like the band, and like I did a little bit more research around like that specific moment, because they were working with George Clinton at the time, and it's like the album that they created through just like this collaboration was like just so out there that like it was a very like inspiring song for me, because it's like I'm talking about war a little bit, so it's like what happened with the Native Americans, and it's like that whole fight with the American government. It's like there's I wanted to like capture that, I guess, and like have that song be part of it.
So do you also speak in the performance?
No.
No verbals.
No. It's like I wear a mask. Like I'm not I'm not there to talk. Like I'm there
it's
to
just the
move.
body.
Yeah.
Oh no, I get you. No man, it does have a name, and I forgot what the name is. But yeah, man, that's dope. Do you have any other paintings that you're working on?
Right now, I've got, I think, like one or two that are sort of in the works, that I'm like sort of posting on like my art Instagram, just like show people that I do work. Like something's happening, it's not just like vibes and conversation.
I feel you, yeah. And like any upcoming projects that you're excited about?
You have to wait and see. Like I'll post. I'll keep people in touch. But like,
so like, where do you see your art evolving? Like in the future? How do you see it evolving? Or is that something that you're still discovering yourself?
I mean, I think it is still evolving. I know that I'm gonna be doing painting for a while. Like I'm very sort of comfortable in the forms that I'm creating, whether that's like abstract or not. But it's like otherwise I'm sort of just going as things develop. Like if I switch to video art, then yeah, like I'll explore that, and and if I'm really certain in like this sound art thing, then like I'm gonna keep working on it and maybe find different ways of like expanding on it, so it's not just like the sonic, and it's like now we're incorporating smell and everything. Because the process is ever changing, so it's like I am hesitant to like this is exactly what we're doing, but
And can you tell us like some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in your artistic experience?
Definitely, one for sure is like self-doubt, because like it is very difficult to sort of live like your hobby and like be comfortable and certain in like claiming your space in like titles, because like sometimes for a while I was hesitant to call myself an artist, because it's like, are you like you're not really doing anything like that? Like, can you really say that you are an artist? And like, can you really say that your work is good if like you're not really, it's only within like the institution and shit like that. So it's but as I've gotten older and like gotten more comfortable with myself, it's like I've stopped caring, and it's like just being like just in the process and like just being okay with it.
That's
like,
dope.
Yeah,
because I mean sometimes it's better to start off by claiming who you are and then becoming that, instead of waiting to like make $1 million to call yourself a millionaire, man. You could call yourself a millionaire now and make that million tomorrow. So like, tell us, man, what advice could you give to like an upcoming artist like yourself, who's like struggling, and just maybe going through doubts themselves?
I think the number one thing is that like you just stop caring. Like stop caring about perfection, because that's impossible to achieve as long as you're just sort of okay, like you're practicing and like you're doing what you love. You're doing the hobby that like you've chosen to cement yourself in, and you're enjoying yourself. Like that's all that really matters. The money, I guess, will come afterwards, because people will find you, but as long as you are concrete and certain in what you're doing, it's like it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And it's like, I'm saying this not like I'm selling work like that, but it's like it's something that I came to terms with like a while ago. It's just like you have to sort of just sit in it and like be okay with the fact that like you can't really draw right now, but like how to draw, and like you're certain in the fact that you know how to draw, and like just trusting that it'll come, the inspiration will come back, and you'll be able to like work double time.
That's true. That's 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. Sometimes we know how to do things, but we're not inspired to do those things that we know how to do. And I feel you on that. Yo, Lolo, it was dope having you on the show, man. I appreciate you coming through. We'll definitely have you back and, talk some more about your how far you are with your masters and, how that's going and everything. But definitely appreciate you coming through, and we're gonna leave it here, and trips out. I mean, yo, I.M.N.O.G Marlon, go ahead, play us out, bro.